Boom, recording. Wanted to talk about Ubuntu for new RVers. If you are like me, you're young, you don't have but one income, you don't have fallbacks like Social Security or stock dividends or retirement or anything like that. Oh, I guess you don't need to see those. You probably are looking for ways to trim your costs. Well, with things like Windows and Apple, they have ridiculous prices on the updates for like Windows 8 from Windows 7 or like virus protection and stuff like that. Linux is open source, which means free. It means more than that, but for purposes here, I'm just going to say free. You're not going to get a virus on it because they they say you won't get a virus on Apple, which is true, but you do on Microsoft Windows because, well, the easiest way I've heard it explained, and while it's not entirely accurate for the purposes here, it's probably good. Imagine a house, all the doors are open. That's Microsoft. A virus can walk in and walk into any room because all the doors are open. Now imagine a house, all the doors are closed. Virus walks in, opens the door, walks into the next room, but in order to get to another room through another door, it has to close the door behind it, like Nicole Kidman and the others. So in that way, Linux sort of, if you were to get a virus, would trap it in one spot, and it's easy to deal with. It can't just like run rampant in your system. And I realize that's not entirely accurate for anybody who's out there like, okay, yeah, but for the average user, that's accurate enough. Ubuntu is probably the better one to jump to. There's other Linux distributions like Mint and stuff like that, but Ubuntu is the more glossy, I guess. So for people coming from Apple or Windows, it's going to be the easier one to learn just because of the visual support that it has. For example, like when you load software, most people are used to doing it through a disk and drivers and stuff. Well, Ubuntu has a software center where you can go out and find whatever it was you're looking. What the fuck is that? Goddamn communists. So let's say we're going to look for an alternative for, I don't know, anything. I used to be Photoshop, and I had to find a Photoshop alternative. So Photoshop alternative in Linux. Boom. And I use start page for my search results. So go into here. Obviously, I've already been there. You can see I've visited the link before. GIMP. Okay, you would go out here, type in GIMP. Obviously, I've already loaded it. You can see these costs are here, but like this is for example, an ebook. GIMP itself was free. I've already loaded it, so. And my transition to using Linux full-time came this year, 8 months ago. My first couple of weeks here, my Windows 7 machine crashed that I had Photoshop and all my video editing software and Pro Tools on, and Fruity Loops and stuff like that, and I have a Dell Inspiron. I didn't have the driver's disk, and I couldn't attach to the Wi-Fi to download the drivers for the Wi-Fi, so obviously that was a no-go. But I did have an Ubuntu disk sitting there, and it was an old version, 10 point something. So I loaded it up with the intention of, because it's very intuitive, it figures out how to use your system and just works. So I was like, okay, well, since it'll just work, I'll go out, I'll get the drivers, I'll move them over to the Windows 7 side, and then everything will be fine. Then I loaded it up, and I was like, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Because I'm going to have to buy the next update, or buy the next, support package, or plug-in package for whatever I'm using, or, antivirus. Why am I doing this? I could just use Linux, and then pay $0 for everything, and still get all the updates and be able to do all this stuff that I do on my video blog and all that other stuff. So I decided not to go that route. So I knew GIMP from my boss, and he also showed me Blender Blender, which is actually Blender is pretty badass. Let me just sidetrack here. I'll do a couple sidetracks, I'm sure. Fucking ADD. For example, here's a secondary sidetrack while I'm in the middle of sidetracking stuff. Blender Rabbit. There we go. Let's see if it comes up. It should be like Big Buck, yeah. So this was done entirely in 3D, or in Blender. Except that's a fucking commercial. Fuck you. Start page is my search engine. It says enhanced by Google, but let me just read this. When you search with start page, we remove all identifying information from your query and submit it anonymously to Google ourselves. We get the results and return them to you in total privacy, which is why I use them. I'm not like looking at how to like, I don't know, make bombs or anything like that, but I don't like the idea of some faceless digital entity data mining and knowing my everything about me. Unless this is Skynet listening, in which case I, for one, welcome our robot overlords. I just like that to be on record. So, I use start page to protect myself. Okay, this is all done in Blender. Pretty amazing, really. Actually, this is a very funny little video. Great for kids. It's about this gigantic bunny who gets bullied. Anyway, but that's all Blender, and that was all free. So, I mean, that's just amazing. Okay. So you can find alternatives to anything out there. And, like My Camp, what is it? My Camp. No, that's... Whoa. Wait, what? Okay, we took a left turn here somewhere. Hold on, let me back up. My camper leaks. You see how Google makes those suggestions? That's the Google bar up there. Well, you would get the exact same suggestions. So let's say my camper leaks. So just so you can see the search results, that's Google. Boom, brings up YouTube videos, and then my camper leaks. Boom, same ones. So it's just as efficient. I just prefer the privacy. As far as Linux goes, it loads up only what you need it to load up. It's not trying to be a one-size-fits-all solution like Microsoft, for example, where they have a bunch of stuff on there that you may never use. Like, you're going to get Movie Maker, but you may never ever make a movie. Like, I loaded Ubuntu onto my neighbor's computer. He also had a Dell Inspiron with Windows 7 that crashed and didn't have a driver's disk. So having already been through that situation with the exact same computer, exact same situation, I knew that this solution, loading Linux, would work. And he doesn't do video editing or music editing or graphic editing or anything like that. He just checks his email, listens to music, watches videos. Well, that's pretty streamlined. And so, you know, his computer was sort of slow with Windows 7, perusing the internet, loading up YouTube videos. But with Linux, it was screaming, even for the awful internet connection here. So comparatively, it was just a step up. And he likes it. And it's easy for him now because he's also got me next door. So when he has problems, he just contacts me. And what I'm going to do before we both go our separate ways is set it up to where there is a screen sharing setup where I can log in and fix his problems from wherever I'm at in the world. But even so, finding... this is one area where Windows and Apple might have a leg up on Ubuntu because they have a support structure. But then again, it's I don't even know if it's that good because you're talking to somebody in India who doesn't speak very good English, and so it ends up becoming more frustrating to try to fix your problems. Whereas like my YouTube won't play videos. Ubuntu. You would have to find the answer yourself, very DIY, just like the RV lifestyle, and you'd have to go out and find it. And they have sites where, you know, people like you and me are answering questions based on, hey, I couldn't get YouTube to work. Okay, well, I had the same problems. This is what I did. See if that works for you. all free. And it's just people like you and me helping other people like you and me, which I think is great. Um, and there's alternatives for all programs. Like I edit videos in Kdenlive. I use Ardour and Audacity for recording. Hydrogen is sort of like a Fruity Loops replacement. It does different things than Fruity Loops, but for most parts, as far as the beats and stuff, I guess you could say it's like a hybrid of Fruity Loops and Drum Kit from Hell, both of which I have. But and I found out you can actually use Drum Kit from Hell inside of Ardour with a little bit of tinkering, so I'm gonna mess with that and see how that goes. Point being, if you don't have a lot of money, and let's say you don't want to use Linux, but then you find your computer crashes, give it a shot. It'll let you check your email and do the things you need to do until you get your Windows system back up, if nothing else. And maybe you'll find that you like it. Maybe you'll find that you don't. You like not paying for stuff, and that you like to choose what kind of donations you make to the people who build this software, as opposed to being told what the price is going to be. So that's a basic, I guess, introduction on why I chose Ubuntu and why I think it fits with the RV lifestyle. If you're actually interested in Ubuntu or Linux, you can get better tutorials on what it is, what it does, and how to use it. I'm not going to make a series like that. I just wanted to introduce it to RVers who might be watching my channel. Um, you can go Ubuntu tutorial and stuff will come up. I end up watching Nixie Pixel mostly because she's hot and I learn better when a hot chick is explaining stuff. That's my thing, I guess. So hopefully that helps somebody who is looking to shave off money in different places. One place a lot of people might forget is your computer. You can shave a lot of money off of all the stuff that you've been doing by switching to Ubuntu. So, cheers. Or, no wait, Seacrest, what is it? Seacrest out.